Hello everybody, my name is Joseph Moore, and today I will be presenting the research I did alongside Dr. Raul Livianos on gentrification and eviction in the Hilltop neighborhood of Tacoma, Washington. I will begin by defining gentrification. Gentrification can be defined as the process by which working-class residential neighborhoods are rehabilitated by middle-class homebuyers, landlords, and professional developers. This process differs from redevelopment, which is not rehabilitation of old structures, but the construction of new buildings on previously developed land. The point of my research was to demonstrate how gentrification has taken place in the Hilltop neighborhood of Tacoma, Washington. Gentrification disproportionately affects people of color. The Hilltop neighborhood has been historically an African American neighborhood that, due to racially motivated practices by the government and the real estate industry, was disinvested in, therefore diminishing property values, which allows the developers to come in and buy up property at next to nothing, and develop market rate or higher structures such as condominiums, townhouses, and apartments that the current tenants, the original tenants of the land, simply just can't afford. And this leads to the issue of eviction and displacement, which has drastically affected the Hilltop community. Down below are before and after pictures, and a quote that states that 35% of the African American population has moved out of the Hilltop neighborhood between the years of 2010 and 2015. This brings me to my next topic, eviction. African American and Hispanic populations make up a majority of the urban poor. So we have become a society that is dependent on rental properties, and this has contributed to the rent increase, and in turn has caused to a rise in the rate of evictions, because cost-burdened residents just simply can't afford to pay the rising cost of rent. So a lot of these market rate and higher condominiums and other multifamily dwellings, the original residents of the neighborhood, which are mostly poor due to the disinvestment, just simply can't afford to live there. And so they have been displaced all around Washington. A lot have gone down south to cities like Olympia, and some have moved to other areas in the King County area, such as Auburn and Kent and Federal Way, and the SeaTac area. So according to a study done on Tacoma's rental market in March of 2018, there has been a steady increase in median rent from 1990 to 2016, where the median rent increased by 39%, but the median household income just can't match it. It's only increased by 20%. So, once again, the residents in the Hilltop neighborhood just simply can't afford to live in these drastically more expensive multi-family dwellings, which leads to displacement. All right, now for my results. I will be talking from top to bottom about the eviction trends in Tacoma from the years 2000 to 2016. You will see that in the first graph are the eviction filings between these years. Washington is the red line and Tacoma is the blue line. And as you can see, Tacoma makes up a pretty large amount of the state's eviction filings for this 16-year period. Moving down, the number of evictions between the same years, once again, the red line is for Washington and the blue line represents the city of Tacoma. And once again, the number of evictions, although it went down a little bit in later years, it still makes up a large portion of the number of evictions that occurred during this time period. Lastly, the eviction filing rate from 2000 to 2016, as you can see, the rate of filing for evictions is actually higher in the city of Tacoma than for the average for the entire state of Washington. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.